So I want to do just a quick video on how to open, complete, and submit assignments. So here we've got lab instructions, and here we have the lab assignments themselves. So notice that example lab goes with the example lab instructions. So those two go together. So when you're opening up a lab assignment, click on the name of the lab assignment, and it's automatically going to open up. It'll tell you when it's due. This one, because it's an example, just doesn't have a due date, how many points it's worth, what you're submitting, which is always going to be a file upload in these classes, how many attempts you have already submitted, so how many times you've tried to submit this assignment, and how many attempts you actually have. So on this case, we have 2 attempts. So whenever we give you these labs, we give you them in 2 different formats, the Word document and the PDF. And this is just kind of a personal preference. If you have pictures in a lab, every once in a while you'll have pictures. If you open something up in a Word document, every once in a while, that will actually move the pictures a little bit. So having that PDF might be useful in that case. So this is just a preview of that PDF. In order to download it, you can click the download button, and you can also do it in a different way. If you click on the down arrow here, I'm going to download the Word document. I'm just going to click on the arrow, and it automatically downloads that for me. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that Word document. So the Word document, this is just opening it. You need to click on Enable Editing, always enable editing. That allows you to actually edit the document, resave it, and then that way you can submit it. So whenever I do a worksheet or anything like that, I tend to change the font color. And the only reason I change the font color is because that way I can do a quick look at the actual assignment and I can see what questions I've answered and what questions I haven't. So if it's a different font color, it stands out. Okay, I've answered that. And right now I don't have any. So this one tells you, activity 3, activity 4, activity 6, that is in conjunction with the actual lab instructions. So we have the Word document open. Now we want to actually go look at the lab instructions. And this is going to be really important if you're in an online class. If you're in a seated class, you're doing these worksheets in the classroom. So you might have a PowerPoint that goes along with it. That would be the first place that I would start. You're going to have some written lab instructions, and then there's going to be videos that are associated with that. So I usually tend to just download all of those things. I leave this open so that way I can come back and look at the actual the video itself. So always start, if you have the PowerPoint, always start with the PowerPoint, because that's probably going to give you all the information you need. It might direct you to the lab instructions, or it might direct you to the video. So you'll get that. If you're in a seated class, your lab instructions is going to be where we're going to be focusing on. So go through all of that information. You can see it says, activity 1 and 2, examine the pictures, activity 3, look at the cow trachea, all of that. And so you're going to go through and you're going to complete the lab. So I'm going to just answer one of these questions just to know that I've actually put a answer on one of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it. So always make sure that you save your labs, and I'm going to actually just change the name of it to completed. And I'm going to save it to my desktop just because that's where I know it's going to be. You can save it wherever you want on your computer. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. It's on my desktop. I know where it is. I know the name of it. And so it should be relatively easy for me to find. So now I'm ready to submit the assignment. So once I'm done with everything, make sure you go back to that actual assignment. So again, example lab, that's the one I'm wanting to turn in. And so here I can see, okay, that's the name of the lab that I just completed. So once again, due date, points, what am I submitting? How many attempts are allowed? So I'm going to go ahead and start the assignment. And from there, I'm going to use the upload file. You can use your webcam if you're taking pictures of something, or if you're in the classroom, or if you're one of those people that wants to print out the lab and handwrite your answers and upload it that way. That's where your phone comes in really handy for this. You can actually take pictures of each of the pages. So if you have 2 pages on your lab, if you have a front and a back side, you're going to have 2 pictures, 1 picture for every page. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a file, and I'll give you an example of how a picture would work in this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that completed lab, but I'm also going to go ahead and add another file. So let's say that you have 2 files that you're supposed to add. I'm just going to grab a picture of one of my dogs because that's what I have on my desktop right now. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a picture of Lola. So I have two different documents or two different pictures that I'm uploading in this case. If I decide that I need another, just add another file. If I decided that I accidentally grabbed something that I didn't want to take, like for example, I grabbed Lola, maybe I don't want to submit that. I can just click the X arrow and it will take it off. I'm going to just put it back on there simply so we can see what it looks like when you submit a picture. And then once I have everything that I want, okay, I'm going to go ahead and submit my assignment. Once I submit my assignment, at the top right here, notice how it says it's submitted. It tells me the date and the time. So July 25th at 12:19 p.m. That is when I submitted it. You're going to have submission details. And then below that, you're going to see the two different files that I uploaded. There's the actual worksheet that I uploaded and the picture of Lola. So if I click on that, it will actually allow me to download that, and I can go ahead and enable editing, and it can show me exactly what I submitted. So this is identical to the one that I completed. Okay, so that's submitted correctly. And then when I look at the other thing, it's a picture. So when I download that, okay, it's showing me the picture that I uploaded. So that is actually correct. If for some reason this is not correct, that's why you have the second attempt. So you can basically resubmit. So let's say that you grabbed the wrong worksheet, you can resubmit it. And again, that's because you have these two attempts. So if you click on submission details, the other thing that's going to do is it's going to show you the exact same thing. So this is your first attempt. You have two attempts, the two different files that I just downloaded. So this is just another view of it, and you can add a comment and save. From there, you can resubmit the assignment, or if you just go back, let's say that I submitted it, maybe I want to resubmit it. Maybe I want to finish that worksheet. And so if I go ahead and finish that worksheet, this time I'm just going to grab a different picture just to show you what it looks like, because I am grabbing a different file. And then I'm going to say, okay, that's what I needed. So I'm going to submit that assignment. Once you submit that second attempt, now you're going to see that the files changed. So it's only showing you the last attempt that you submitted. So you notice that there's no more attempts because I've used two now. So if I go to submission details, even when I click on that, it just shows me the last thing that I submitted, which happens to be a picture of Mocha this time. And so in that case, I can add a comment. You can view feedback on it if I give you feedback. But in general, that's just how you submit the assignments. Again, two attempts, just because if you messed up the first one, you can resubmit. If your first one went through and you see the document is complete and it's what you meant to submit, then you are good to go.